Hi, thanks for joining us here at RoofSnap.
We're going to show you how to account for dormers today.
As you can see, I've already zoomed in on a roof section that has a couple dormers. What we want to do first is set our cursor and come right down the ridge of one of these dormers, and I'm looking at these cursor tails a lot to make sure that I'm lined up. So keep an eye on these blue cursor tails as we draw. But I'm going to start by coming down this main ridge. Kind of get to the bottom, make sure I'm at the bottom of both the one on the left and the right. And then because I can see the edge of this rake as it meets the eave on the left much more clearly, I'm going to draw that one, 2.7 feet. And then I'm just going to come up and look to get right at the bottom of all the valleys. So I'm looking at the ones on the left and the right, and I'd say right about there looks like the bottom of the valleys.
Yeah, looks good.
And then I come up. Now I'm going to drop that line and come back down here and draw this rake. The reason is I wanted to get it balanced on the left and the right side. So I'll come 2.7 feet and then just repeat coming up, keeping an eye on those cursors, making sure they're turning orange. There we go. So I've got the first one done. The first one ends up being a map for the second one, just so long as I get right in the middle of the ridge. I'd say that's probably about good.
Yeah.
Come down, line up with the bottoms, come over 2.7 just like before. Come up that eave. Get right in line with the bottoms of those other valleys, and then connect. I'm sorry, at the bottom of those other valleys. Now I want to do the same thing. I want to break and come down here and do the other 2.7 foot rake. Now they're actually going to be a little longer than 2.7, as you know, once I put in pitch values and label my lines. But there again, I'm lined up with the bottoms of the valleys, and I come up and I join at the ridge. Now the most important thing about accurately drawing your dormers are going to be the step walls and the roof-to-wall flashings that we have around these dormers.
Absolutely.
There's kind of two ways that you can do it. Most people will do it the quick and easy way. So what you can do is you can kind of just come in and see, let's say you have a 1 foot overhang. So that's 1 foot in. Well, I'm not going to draw that line. I'm just going to start at that point. All right, so I've come down about a foot. Yep, that looks like to be about a foot at the bottom as well. And I'm going to come across. There, I'm about a foot shy, and I'm going to come right back up the other side. Now, if you leave it like this, you'll get almost completely accurate results. If I switch over to facets, you'll see that I indeed have the dormer on the left, the dormer on the right, and I do have my step walls that I can label and my roof-to-wall flashing down here at the bottom. But I'm not actually correctly accounting in this drawing for my overhangs, which could add a little bit of extra material.
Sure.
So if you want to be very precise with your dormers, just click in to the draw screen and add these little pocket lines. Now, unfortunately, doing this is going to add one extra facet that we do not need. And you'll see that facet here. Well, maybe you'll see it a little more clearly if I actually remove that facet. This one here becomes the double shaded section that we don't need. See, when I turn that off, now I have double shading around the perimeter.
Yeah, coming for that overhang section.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, these are still dormers, so we do need to put the dormer label on the left side and here on the right side. But we are still getting that double shading. We do not need to apply the dormer label to this bottom section because it's just accounting for that extra double shading around the outside.
Gotcha.
Now it's very easy then from here to go to the other one. Just like when we drew the primary lines, we can use the 90 mode to line us up and draw in the step walls. And basically when we're done, these two dormers will be identical to one another left and right. 3.4 feet, so let's bring that back to 3.4 feet. Come up to the top and connect over here as well.
Head over into facets, use that remove tool one more time.
Yep. Get this one here removed. Switch over to the dormer label. Add a dormer to that one. Add a dormer to that one. And that's going to be the correct shading that you're going to want to see here for a dormer with the overhangs correctly drawn. Last but not least, let's just use the remove tool. This extra 0 here, in case it confuses you and you want to remove a certain section just to see what it applies to, you can see that's the large slope that surrounds these two dormers.
Great.
There's one more dormer on this roof. So let's move up here. And this dormer is a little bit different. It is a low sloped dormer, single flat roof, almost completely flat roof section on top.
Got it.
So let's switch over to draw mode. You can see I've already drawn in the pitch change here. And I'm going to quickly draw in the rake. Oh, I think I need to bring it out just a hair further. Yep, till about there.
Perfect.
Then we'll draw the eave. And look for that cursor, crosshair, to turn orange. And then come all the way over and connect it. Now, there is a step wall and a roof-to-wall flashing around this as well. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to come down here and try to get that 1 foot, roughly 1 foot overhang amount as well.
And the nice thing is if you go on site and find that, that's actually a little bit deeper than we thought, you can use that kind of move function that Jason just showed you and adjust those lines to account for the size of the overhang.
Yeah, and let me explain that move function a little more clearly.
Yeah.
So to get this dormer drawn correctly, we are going to connect into the pockets where the pitch change meets the rake.
Mm-hmm.
But these are not actually diagonal lines. These are going to be vertical lines, straight up and down based on the angle of this roof. So before we move them into place, it usually makes the most sense to go ahead and label the lines before you move them, because eventually they're going to overlap other lines.
Gotcha.
So where's the wall? There.
Right below that step.
Thank you.
Yep.
So these are actually little pocket walls. And of course this is a wall as well. Then we go back into draw mode. And that move function that Katrina was referring to, that is a right click. That picks up that point with the 2 lines connected to it, and we could just move it right into place, right over top of that pitch change. So you can see it's orange and then it's blue right over top. Same thing with this one down here. Move that right into place. Now we do have to finalize this dormer by going into facets, and you're going to see we have an extra facet here as well.
Mm-hmm.
So just let's remind ourselves which one's which. So we turn that one off, and that is the main section of the top of the dormer.
Uh-huh.
And we turn this one off, and that's actually the surrounding.
Nice.
So what we're going to need to do on this one is label the middle section as dormer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to give us the correct shading. The darker blue right here around the perimeter is giving us that overhang, accounting for the above and the below.
Wonderful.
Now you're going to need to put the dormer pitch, so let's say it's a 212 pitch.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to want to go into pitch and put the 212 both here and here. This one here is going to be the pitch for the predominant slope that is beneath this dormer.
Gotcha.
So if we go to the remove tool one last time and turn that off, so let's say that was like an 812 or a 912, that would account for the pitch of the roof beneath that dormer, surrounding that dormer.
That remove tool makes it very easy to
Just
see that.
just turn them off and on as you need to in order to see which facet is being represented by which pitch value. If you have any questions at all about these complex dormers or overhangs or any substantial difficult architecture in your roofing, in your sketch in RoofSnap, please feel free to give us a call.
Yes, that's 877 RoofSnap.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks.